Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dave coming to you from the backyard here in Southern Maryland. And it's Sunday afternoon, maybe coming up on 6 o'clock. It's pretty much a pretty hot 90 degrees here. Slight breeze, not too much humidity, though. So that's a nice thing. It's 90 degrees in April in Maryland is rare. It's a little bit off. But the good part about it is no humidity today. So anyway, just in case I come across as smart, I just recorded a whole series, 30 minutes of these, without my microphone on. How about that? So I've got all these little videoettes, and not one of them has sound to it. What an idiot. What am I smoking? I'm smoking The Party is Black from Mark. Mark, thank you very much, man. I got about 50 of these because of you. Thank you, buddy. Dark, bold. I love them. Got my dogs out here again. Echo right there and Chance off in the background. They were being a little rambunctious earlier in the day, but we've been out here an hour, and they're all calm now. I think I've told you Echo, the one close there. Hey, Echo. She's like 92% good and 8% scoundrel. So I have to keep her on a leash out here or she'll run off on me. She's watching a frog jump through the grass to get to the ponds. And in fact, because we have all those plants and those two ponds, and you can hear the water when I don't have the mic on, they draw all the frogs, the peepers, the bullfrogs out of the woods, and they go live in our pond for the summer. And in fact, we have a kind of a wet water creek a couple 100 feet down behind the tree line here, and snapping turtles come up out of the Patuxent River, come up that little creek, and then walk up the bank and get in our pond. And we've had to remove 18, 20-inch snapping turtles from the pond. We remove them if we see them because they're kind of hell on the fish. So I brought up a couple serious subjects that I'm going to go ahead and re-talk about real quick. One is the government has proposed as part of the 2025, so next year's federal budget, which starts October 1st, two things that scare the hell out of me. One is doubling the capital returns rate, capital gains tax rate to 44%. And they've talked about, it's actually part of the budget that they're proposing, to institute an unrealized capital gains tax. And you might think, oh, capital gains, that's for rich people, but it's really not. I mean, it is, don't get me wrong. But the reason I'm bringing it up here is if you own anything, if you own a home that's increased in value, or a stock portfolio, or a 401k, or you inherited something, they intend on taking your cost basis and doing an evaluation of what it's worth today and taxing you on the gain at that 44%, which is tough because if you don't sell the asset, you still get 44% tax on it. How are you going to pay that tax? So if you bought a house for $200,000 and it's now worth $400,000 market value, they intend to tax you 44% on that $200,000. And if your stock portfolio's got on 100 or 200 grand, it's your retirement funds, your pension funds. They intend on taxing you, and you're either going to have to sell your house or sell your portfolio or sell your stock to pay that tax, or you're at risk of losing your home or your portfolio. I'm not wigging out about it yet because I'm hoping cooler heads will prevail. But that would seriously, if that passes and becomes law and next year's tax bill begins to include that kind of thing, it will seriously cause me to reevaluate where I live in this world. I hate that. Anyway, I'm not wigging out yet, but please become aware of, educate yourself, and pay attention to unrealized capital gains. It is formally proposed by the administration to be part of next year's revenue for the United States government. And I'm worried that states may like that idea too. pretty scary stuff. So the other serious subject that I brought up that I'm going to reiterate here is how proud I am of you, of the membership of Team Freedom, and how I see you waking up and speaking out and speaking up and speaking for stating your beliefs and stating why you have those beliefs. I think it's incredibly satisfying to see you do that. And I think, little by little, we are going to break up the silent majority and make people aware of just how many people are out here who believe like we do. I see so many people taking that first step. Doing that in here, it's a relatively protected environment. You might get some return fire, but you can simply ignore it. But as we get more comfortable talking about it here in our safe zone, maybe we'll get more comfortable and talk about it with our friends and our family and at gatherings and parties and barbecues. And over the next several months and next few years, maybe people will realize that there are way more people who believe like they do than they realized. So, kudos to you. It's fun to watch. I also believe we can state our beliefs. We don't have to call people dumb or stupid or idiots for not believing like we do. We just simply state what we believe and why. And that more and more people realize how many of us have these kinds of beliefs. So, a couple of fun notes. You saw that crazy video of Mark giving me yet another box. I mean, an entire box of personalized tobacco and that beautiful pipe. So, Mark, thank you, buddy. I really do appreciate it. You kind of blew me away. The amount of gifts I've received in the last week since I've been home, is really, really heartening. I really do appreciate it. I'm touched by how many people reached out with things. I still have a couple more to do, if you can believe that. Another fun thing is that race simulator. It had been sitting in my basement here. I bought it. I assembled it from a kit from Belgium or Brussels. I just can't remember which. And then you customize it with all the electronics and stuff. And it took me about 6 months to understand it and buy all the parts and assemble it and get it running. But I used it for 3 years. I'd learn every track I was going to go race on in real life. I spent 2 to 4 weeks running an hour a day on that track, learning it. You're still intimidated by the field and by the quality of the other drivers, but at least the track isn't a mystery. So it's kind of like 3 construction projects. The first is to assemble all the metal components and get it right. And the second is to put all the car components into it, the steering wheel, the pedals, the torque, that Fanatec, get all that stuff hooked up and running right. And then the electronic components, the computer, and getting those 3 screens placed perfectly so that you can use them as one monitor, and hooking everything up to the computer. And then I download iRacing. That's sort of probably the best known in the racing world. And you can actually participate in e-races. You can actually earn money. There are purses that you can run for in the iRacing. So I have my GT4 was a McLaren 570 GT4, and that's one of the cars you can configure. So that's what I race in. So now that it's working perfectly, disassembling it here and getting it all in the truck and getting it all over to the paddock has been on my list for several months, but I was actually scared to do it because it's so complex. But it's 100% working in the paddock, so I will take you through some racetracks over the next couple of weeks. I wear my balaclava, I wear my racing helmet, my racing gloves, and my racing shoes to really get the feel of what it's like to run these tracks. The difference between wearing a helmet and not wearing a helmet is significant because it brings your field of vision down to this instead of what we see without a helmet on. So it's pretty critical we run these tracks if we're training, with a helmet on. And you can't feel as well with the gloves on, those fire gloves. So it's important to run with fire gloves on. And then I like to run in socks because I feel the pedals, but I can't do that in the race, so I wear race shoes. So I'll show it to you once when we get over there and I get a little bit of time. And the other fun thing today was my wife had a Peloton, and I'm going to come straight out and say I gave it to her. She asked for it for her birthday 5 years ago, and she used it for a little while, but she doesn't like working out in the basement. It's too isolated. She has a treadmill she likes, but she does most of her walking out on the streets, on the driveway outside where she can breathe real air. She ended up not liking the Peloton, so she hasn't used it in a couple of years, and her sister really wanted it, so we got it out of the basement and got it up to her house. I realized that if it was going to get moved, it was going to get moved by me because they've been talking about it for months. So we got it moved today, and the basement looks really good with that simulator out of the basement and the Peloton bike out of the basement. It looks really good as a one-bedroom apartment now. It's got its own bed, it's got its own TV, it's got its own couch, it's got its own bathroom. So hopefully that'll encourage my kids to come home more. So what I'm saying is I guess I had a pretty damn good day. Got the race simulator moved and running, got the Peloton moved, got that beautiful gift box from Mark. So I've had a good day. So Dave over at Central Cal Piper, you had started a cigar experience a few weeks or a month ago, and I just wanted to maybe give us an update. Have you tried another one? I know you can't smoke in the car with the cigar, and I know you can't smoke in your home office on stay-at-home Thursdays. So I just wonder if you've tried any other cigar experiences. If you have, let us know how it went. And the other thing is, I've talked to you several times about it. I love to get to know you guys by you putting up different kinds of videos, but also, starting to get to know each other by text and email. And Rafael and I have had some great email exchanges the last few days. So I just want to say kudos to Rafael. I mean, you're a good dude. I can tell by the exchanges we're having. So thank you for reaching out, and thank you for the email exchanges. I really do like it. Some of you also reached out. I owe some of you responses to your emails, and I will get on it. I just had to get the basement ready for my kids. My daughter's on the auto train. She goes to Orlando, gets on the auto train. It goes overnight. She'll be here, in the next 20 hours or so. She will be here, and that's pretty exciting. I guess that brings me to the end of this abbreviated version of backyard chat. So I'm going to end it the way I always do. I'm going to say, may God bless you and those around you and those that are important to you. May God turn his ear towards your prayer. The world's quiet right now. Most of us, there's a lot going on around us, but I don't think too many are affected by it yet. So use this time to build a relationship. May God make his face shine upon you. And I sure hope he blesses you as well as he's blessed me in my life and continues to do so. So guys, have a great Sunday night. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you've planned a good week out in front of you. And we will talk again tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.